Hello, everyone. It's Justin Maxwell here. I am super excited about the opportunity to bring to you the co founder and president of a software called Gravy Stack, Travis Adams. And the reason I'm so excited about this is because the mystery in the marketplace has always been, how do I teach my children about wealth, how to handle money, how to create value? And it's difficult for parents to do. And Gravy Stack offers a solution, and a powerful solution with real world examples, extraordinary psychology and technology around it. And so I'm just super excited for you to hear about it so that you can bring this to your family and to your children and see the impact within your own life. So thank you, Travis. I really appreciate you being here.
Yeah, thanks, Justin. Happy to be here, and thanks for having me on.
Yeah, thank you. So just to start off, can you just explain what is Gravy Stack? Like, that's a unique name. Where did it come from? What is the company? Just dive into that for us.
Yeah, and I'll start off with the problem and why what it is. But I say from kindergarten to college to Congress, we don't know how to spend less than we make, and the list goes on about money issues, right? So Scott and I, my best friend, we started Gravy Stack really to solve this huge problem in America and internationally of how do we teach kids to be financially competent? So not literate, because you can be literate and still make the wrong or poor decisions or not the best decision. So how do we create that? And so we set out, and Scott and I, we started other companies. One of our companies, we served over 6 million kids, um, called Apex Leadership Co. And so we've been around kids for a long time. Well, kids, as we know, and adults for that matter, learn in two ways primarily best, which is play and by experience, or learn by doing, right? So we built Gravy Stack. It's a platform. It's the world's first gamified banking platform that teaches kids and families to be financially competent. And there's two ways that we do that: through mini games, real mini games. These are not quizzes disguised as a game. It's actual games that are fun that we've tested with kids. And then we have what we call real life challenges, which is where kids put the phone down and go do stuff, right? And that's how they learn. And it's okay to fail, right? Because that's usually our best learnings. And so, for example, we have a subscription hunt in level one. So level one is Big Savings Beach. Kids are thrown to this whole world called Windfall. And the kids in this mission, the subscription hunt, go home and cancel as many of mom and dad's real subscriptions as they can. In our first group, Justin, we save families, or the kids save their families on average almost $600 a year
Wow.
in that one game,
Wow.
right? And then we also have banking games, missions, but there's 10 levels. We start off with mastering savings, earnings, spending. We don't get to spending till level 3, sharing / generosity, and investing. And then we continue from there. The borrowing, or the issues around borrowing. When they finish all 10 levels, the kids get a certificate of financial independence, and they will have truly mastered those 10 skills to be financially competent based on validated achievement. So there's a lot in Gravy Stack, but that's an overview.
I really like that because so I've implemented with this my kids, and they did that subscription thing. And like, we're like fresh, like we're brand new to this, but it was cool for them to be the initiator of the conversation, because I think parents are always struggling, like, how do I talk about this? But the game is providing the platform for the children to bring the conversation to the parents. And now
Yeah.
it's an easier for parents. Oh, it's a specific subject, specific thing. It's not everything. It's just one thing, and you're having a conversation about that. And now it's building. And so I think that's extraordinary. That it's kid led versus adult led.
Yeah, that's a great phrase, kid led. I need to use that more. Kid led. And you're right. I mean, that's actually some of the really cool things that we're hearing from families, because I was telling you before we got on, like, we're starting to get a lot of transformational stories of families and how this is actually helping their kids. And I always tell people, Gravy Stack, it's like the most tangible thing you can give your kids and family that'll make a difference this week, right? It's not you got to memorize this stuff or learn this stuff. It actually, you just get them playing. Parents, if you can just get on there and create your first gig and get your kids to do their first gig, and then get the kids to play the first game, they'll be off and running. But I can't tell you how many parents have been like, yeah, my kid's talking to me about that stuff. And with parents, I mean, we've got 4 kids, my wife and I, 9, almost 8, 4 and 2. And dude, we're tired. We're tired. Life is full. We'd say busy, but life is really full. And most parents, you don't have time. I don't have time to do another thing. And that's the other reason Scott and I, the way we built Gravy Stack was for tired, exhausted parents who are tired of either nagging their kids or tired of their kids complaining. Like, how do we build it in a way where the kids take ownership? So, and that is actually one of our goals is for the kids, for Gravy Stack to be kind of the igniter of all of these conversations. It's like it's happening. And so for the parents, it's like you get a roadmap, you can just watch them play, and then they're going to lead it for you, and then you get to participate. And I mean, a lot of our parents are like, they play the game with the kids, and they're like, oh, I should probably do this with my finances. So
Yeah. Yeah, because I've found, because I went through it just a little bit, and being on the financial side where I'm trying to help people and consult with people on how to get these things right in their adult life, like it's very simple, and you can learn a lot as even an adult by just participating with your children, because these are foundational principles of how to become successful or how to create financial independence for yourself as well. So it's not like it's just benefiting the kids, but it's going to benefit you. But to me, the big thing is it's creating a conversation point with your children to create greater connection, greater relationship around something that has been an enigma for a lot of parents.
yeah, and it is. I mean, like with all of us, money, a lot of families and growing up just generationally, it could be a negative thing, whether it's, my parents didn't take care of me, or whether it's trauma or just like we didn't talk about money, or and then in my case, like we talked a little bit about money, but like I didn't know a ton, and it's because my parents were never taught a system or an approach necessarily. And so there's a lot of shame and guilt for parents of like, well, I don't really know, so I'm either ashamed that my kids are going to know that I don't know, or I'm just not going to know what to teach them. And so with Gravy Stack, yeah, it actually makes the relationship more and more positive with your kids, because that weight is not on you anymore. Like, we've got all the really good stuff. Our advisors, investors, and people who helped us build this are like the best in the world when it comes to raising like healthy families and making money a positive kind of catalyst in a positive conversation and relationship builder versus the negative.
Awesome. I like that. Can you give a little background around what was the triggering event that led you and Scott to say, you know what, we need to build this? Like, what happened? What was leading up to that led
Yeah.
to Gravy Stack's creation?
Yeah. So it was a pandemic, and Scott called me, and we were not in the same business at that time. We started this other company and kind of done other things in the youth development space. And Scott really grew Apex to what it is now. But and he called me and said, "Hey, do you want to start this company with me?" At the time, it's called My First Sale, and so we started off just serving schools and homeschool communities, and just families that wanted to teach their kids entrepreneurship through an Etsy like online shop. So back then we were teaching like the 5 Ps. So what is your passion? What is going to be your product? What's the price you're going to set? What's profit? What does even profit mean? And then what's your pitch to sell that product? So we were having kids make anywhere from $100 to some kids were making 12 or $1,300 in a weekend. We would do these virtual business fairs, and then some kids would just sell on their own. We had a couple of boys that were selling T-shirts in Arizona. They made over like $7,000.
Wow.
This T-shirt company called Creator Complaint. But anyways, we're doing that. Several months in, Scott is very connected, and we've got some really wise mentors. You may know Dan Sullivan, strategic coach. Some people like that were like very helpful in letting us see like, hey, this is like a bigger thing than we originally set out to do. So we started looking around, and the problem was big, and nobody will fault Scott or myself for being being a dreamcasters or visionaries. So we're like, hey, let's solve it. let's go help kids make and manage money, create value for their home and those around them. We're raising kids. We don't, a lot of this stuff, like we're putting into practice. So it's not like we're, doing, we're learning right alongside our customers and our families as well. And so, we, went out and raised some money and said, hey, let's build this thing called Gravy Stack. The name came from gravy, kind of the gravy train analogy, but we wanted it to be fun and it couldn't be boring. And then Stack, we were texting us and said, what about Stack? Because kids don't see money move anymore. Heck, adults don't see money move anymore. That's part of the problem. We just swipe a card.
Right.
So that's part of the genesis for the whole, our patented money machine, and making sure kids see the flow of money. And I have tons of stories about kids actually making different decisions using the money machine. Just the money machine by itself has been really powerful. But so yeah, 2 years took us a long time to build it, because it was, the first gamified banking platform where there's real money, but it's also a real game. So
Right.
We launched, this summer, and so yeah, now we're off and running.
Cool. This is awesome. I like the words you said, because you said, I teach the children how to bring value to their families, because I think a lot of parents like, how do I give my kids money, or how do I teach them? And this app allows you to teach your children that money is received after you've delivered value, and it helps guide that process. So it's not just giving them money to give them money for nothing. So it gets the mindset, I get something for nothing, out of the picture, and they have to create value. And it starts getting them thinking abundantly and thinking differently. How can I help my family? What can I do to solve this problem? And that's like what I think desperately our country needs, is thinkers and problem solvers and value deliverers versus complainers and people expecting everything for nothing.
Yeah, it's a huge problem. I'm sure that's probably one of the root causes, right, to what we're dealing with in the country with the issues. But yeah, if you're always, in fact, Lee Benson, one of our mentors, and Scott wrote a book. If you haven't looked it up, you can go to gravystack.com/book. It's called Value Creation Kid. It was a bestseller on Wall Street Journal and a bunch of Amazon, a bunch of other places. But we have a ton of families that have read that book, and it really does kind of turn the light bulb on. And we talk about the Gravy Stack method. But Value Creation Kid is exactly that. It's and we talk about the Gravy Stack method, which is embedded in the app, which is, how do you set up a home economy where your kids are self-motivated? Because that's the big problem with a lot of, and heck, our kids were working through, like, hey, how do I take my kids from complaining about chores, right, to value creation and like positive attitude? And so we've had stories. So when you implement the home economy, which again, it's in the Gravy Stack app. So if you sign up for Gravy Stack, it's, the 3 E's. Number 1, expectations. Every day, our kids, they'll do their high fives, which are 5 things: brush your teeth, make your bed, clean your room, feed the dog, clean the table, take your vitamins. And then they do 2 chores. And those are expectations that they don't get paid for. So that's the first E. The second E is expenses. And this is a very quick overview, but expenses are things that you need to start handing off to your kids that you've been paying for, that are going to help them learn the value of a dollar, right? So the low-hanging fruit is going to be their friends' birthday presents when they go to a birthday party. When they drop that present off, if they've had to work and pay for that, they're not just going to drop it off and leave it. They're going to actually care more. And, Chad Wilwerson, we were on a call yesterday. His son saved up and paid for an electric dirt bike. Okay. When he goes over to his friend's house, guess what? He's the only kid that puts his dirt bike inside the garage so it doesn't get stolen. Because you know what? He paid for that. Right. So what are those expenses? Extra sports equipment, all kinds of things you can do. You can start small with 2 or 3 things, but they've got to learn to pay for stuff, which then will catapult them into the 30, which is extra pay. And that's the gig system we have inside of Gravy Stack, where it's like, now that you as a parent actually save money, maybe every month, you can now pay them not just to do the bare minimum or do nothing, but you actually pay them to create value in the home. So what are the things you pay somebody else to do? Deep clean a bathroom, clean a garage. We've got a guy, one of our power users up in Virginia, Russell Peden, he has a gig that's reoccurring every month. It's $40 and it says all the hard stuff. So, and again, it could be manual labor, which we call action gigs, or it could be brain gigs, which are, pay to learn. I mean, a lot of us, we make a living by, being on our computer and learning and sharing knowledge and those kinds of things. So, but when you get the 3E set up, it's game over. And like we're experiencing this right now. Our kids, they do their high fives and two chores and they're not complaining. We just say, hey, go do them. They're done. And then they're looking for the next thing. So yeah, it really is cool. It's
Yeah.
cool to see it happen. And we've got a lot of other families that have been like, their kids are like competing over gigs now,
Right.
and
I've
they're
got
not
to, I got to tell you, like,
competing.
this is
Competing is kind of that's the cycle.
right. For me, like, this is like, it's like a spiritual connection, like, as you're saying this, because it's like a solution that people have always been like, like, I've deliberately thought about, like, how can I do this? And like, you guys are providing a system and a solution that is easy to implement. Like, I can't wait for to implement this with my kids because we've already started a little bit, but we're still fresh in this. And so I am so excited to get these set up so that I can see the transformation. So with that said, do you have any like stories of just like powerful that you've seen from users of like this was the behavior before and now it's transformed into this that would be helpful for people listening?
Yeah, there's a handful. Let me think. The ones that come to mind. So there's a family. I think they have 3 kids, and I can share a couple. He saved up for a Patrick Mahomes jersey. So when they first get on the app, one of their missions is to set a quick goal, which is anything under $250. We just want them to set a goal and hit it quick, right? Get the validation of I can do this. So he saved $60 for his Patrick Mahomes jersey, and this is early on. And then when you hit that goal, you can move it into your spend jar, which is your debit card, to go pay for the thing that you saved for. Well, because he had worked hard for it, he's like, you know what, Dad, I think I'm going to keep this money in my save jar because it kind of took a lot of effort to do that. His dad's like, okay, and and then we had another family who did the eat in versus eat in challenges, where you have to make a meal at home that you have eaten out, and then compare the prices and see how much money you save. So the kid has to buy the food, prep it, serve it, clean up, and then get a 1 to 5 star rating from any of the family members that ate, right? So if you get 4 stars, you pass. And then they see how much they save. Well, this oldest kid, the other siblings were asking to go out to eat. And he was like, no. He's like, do y'all know how expensive it is to go out to eat? So kids are smart. They're super capable, way more capable than we give them credit for. That's probably the biggest lesson learned is like our kids can do way more than we think. But we got to give them the opportunity and, to rise to the challenge.
Right. I like that. You've mentioned a few times that this is a gamification with a bank. Can you describe the bank piece of this so that people understand that this isn't just an app that has games on it, but it actually is integrated into the experience so they get to do things with their own bank account?
Yeah, that's a good point. So yeah, parents, if you're listening, when it asks for like your social, like and your like information, yeah, it's a real bank account. So we have to add, it's FDIC insured bank account. We partner with banks in the United States. And so it would be, the parent's the custodian, and then there's accounts, you can add up to 5 kids in your account right now. And so, yeah, it's real money, real bank account. And the way it works is, you have a parent wallet that's connected to, say, my Chase bank account. I put money into my Gracy parent wallet, and then it's all automated. So when my kids earn money, once I set up their payday, so like our kids get paid on Fridays, any gigs they've done, which is just one click, it'll automatically go to my kids on payday. But yeah, it's all FDIC insured.
Cool. Are you able to, because sometimes grandparents get excited about this too, because when we told my kids' grandparents, they were like, oh, I want to be a part of this. Can the grandparents be attached to that wallet as well, and they can pay them through that too if they're doing gigs there?
So we have a lot of grandparents using it. So that is on the roadmap. So more coming soon. But yes, we are hopeful that the kid will have one debit card, one account, and then grandparents can pay because we have a lot of. But right now, a grandparent actually have to open up their own account.
Okay, got
Do
it.
that, but it is coming soon. So we do have some grandparents where they have an account and the parents have an account. But yeah, hopefully soon it'll be all just where the whole family will be attached to the kid, and parents can
Cool.
allow who they want to allow in as family
Cool.
members. Yeah.
Awesome. So I mean, this is like, to me, this is the why, like, because we have a lot of listeners here that are successful doctors. They're making great money. They've started a roadmap of themselves of trying to create a bigger future for themselves. But to me, this is like the missing piece of like, what's the point of my money? And this helps bridge that gap to, yes, your kids are still learning about it, but it takes it one step deeper for me, that it's, what's the point of this? And it's the fact that we get to experience time as a family. We get to earn this. We get to create value for the world. We get to create value for each other. So to me, that's what really resonates. Yes, it solves the money problem, but it takes it to the next level for me.
Yeah, it is. It really is fun, and yeah, excited. We love hearing from parents, and would love to hear from you. And I don't know how they can get a hold of you, Justin, or me. You know, if you want
Yeah.
to.
The best way to get in contact with, if you want the Gravy Stack app, is we're going to have a link in the description in the show notes where you can just click it. You'll be able to sign up. You'll be able to express it, experiment with it, check it out. It'll all be there in the link. And then obviously they can go to gravystack.com. Is there anywhere else that you feel, Travis, would be a good spot for people to go?
Yeah, I think your link, I mean, yeah, graves.com is the best. And then the other thing too, if you just want more of a deeper dive, Scott and Chad do our podcast, which is called Smart Money Parenting. It's like the #2 parenting podcast. And it's really great, 15-minute chunks. You can email in your questions and they can answer those, but that's another great resource.
Awesome. I really appreciate you being here today, Travis. Thank you. And is there any last words, anything else you think that people should know before you go?
Yeah, I just want to say to parents, like, you know, it's such a gravy stack is such a new thing. It's kind of for parents, they don't really realize that it's like a thing, right? Because it's so new. And I would just encourage parents, if download the app. We've got 100 or a 30-day money back guarantee. If your kids don't save you at least $100 in the first 30 days and they complete level 1, which is all about savings, we will give you 100% of your money back. They're going to save you way more money than you'd ever thought about investing in just kind of any app you could think of. So I'd say just get on there, set up a gig, get your kid to do 1 gig. And then for kids, just get them on there playing. That's really my encouragement. And I would be excited to hear kind of what happens.
Yeah. Awesome. Really appreciate it, Travis. Thank you. And anyone that wants information, the link will be there. You can reach out to me personally or just go to gravystack.com. Thank you, Travis.
Awesome. Thanks, Justin.
Yep.